When Dream Theater suddenly announced the cancellation of their entire 2026 European tour, it sent shockwaves across the music world. Fans had been counting down for months. Every show was sold out, and the band had promised something unforgettable: a new stage design, rare songs, and a return to their classic sound. But overnight, it all vanished with one short post. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the tour has been cancelled. No explanation, no details, just silence. For a band known for precision and control, this chaos felt out of character. The internet lit up with confusion. Some fans worried about health issues, others suspected internal conflict. A few even claimed it was all a publicity stunt. But Dream Theater wasn't a band that played games. Behind their technical mastery were real human struggles: exhaustion, creative pressure, and years of tension kept behind the scenes. Something had gone wrong, and it was clear the band didn't want to talk about it. As the days passed, whispers turned into headlines. Promoters demanded answers, crew members stayed quiet, and the band, once open and transparent with fans, disappeared into complete silence. Something bigger was happening, something they didn't want anyone to know. To understand this mysterious cancellation, you have to know how Dream Theater operates. For decades, they've been known as perfectionists. Every note, every set list, every sound is carefully crafted. But that same perfectionism comes at a cost: emotional burnout, endless arguments, and constant pressure to outdo themselves. John Petrucci, the band's mastermind, has often said, Dream Theater's greatest enemy is their own ambition. After Mike Portnoy left the band in 2010, everything changed. They lost a friend, a leader, and a rhythm that once defined their unity. When Portnoy finally rejoined in 2023, fans hoped it meant healing, but perfection doesn't always equal peace. Insiders say the band's rehearsals for the 2026 tour were tense. The set list kept changing. James Labrie reportedly wanted fewer long songs to protect his voice, while Petrucci wanted to play everything from Metropolis Paint 2. Portnoy, returning after years away, had his own ideas. The chemistry was off, and no one wanted to admit it. Dream Theater's legacy was on the line. They weren't just playing shows, they were defending decades of musical excellence. And that pressure, for a band already carrying old scars, may have been too much. By February 2026, rehearsals had begun in New York. Early reports from sound engineers painted a troubling picture: arguments over tempos, disagreements about lighting. Even the smallest detail sparked debates. Labrie reportedly left one rehearsal early, frustrated over his vocals being compared to old recordings. Petrucci stayed behind, tweaking guitar tones late into the night. Portnoy tried to keep things professional, but insiders said he often clashed with management about logistics and pay. Dream Theater wasn't falling apart, but the cracks were visible. They had reunited for the fans, but beneath the smiles, unresolved tension still lingered from the past. Then came the rumors of illness. A crew member posted online that one band member had been under doctor's orders not to travel. The post was quickly deleted, but it fueled speculation that health issues were being hidden behind unforeseen circumstances. The truth was unclear, but the atmosphere in the Dream Theater camp had turned dark. When the cancellation news spread, fans were heartbroken. Many had planned trips across Europe, flights, hotels, tickets, all gone in seconds. But sadness soon turned into suspicion. On social media, people began connecting clues: old interviews, cryptic posts and photos showing Labrie looking tired during a festival show in late 2025. Some claimed Portnoy had posted a message hinting at personal storms. Others noticed Petrucci's silence, unusual for someone always in contact with fans. Within days, fan theories flooded YouTube and Reddit. Some believed Dream Theater had broken up again. Others said they were in conflict with promoters. But the most common theory was simple: burnout. After nearly 4 decades, maybe they just couldn't keep going at that level anymore. Yet something didn't add up. Refunds were delayed. Merchandise from the tour still shipped out for weeks after the announcement. If the tour was canceled suddenly, why were materials still being produced? Dream Theater's silence only deepened the mystery. While the band stayed quiet, insiders began talking. Not the musicians, but those around them. A report surfaced that the cancellation wasn't about health or creative issues. It was about money. Dream Theater had reportedly disagreed with their European promoters over performance fees. After the massive success of their 2025 North American tour, they demanded higher pay. Promoters pushed back, saying the venues couldn't afford it. Meetings got heated, and management warned that continuing might bankrupt parts of the tour. Petrucci, known for being cautious, wanted to delay. Portnoy pushed to keep the shows going. Labrie, caught in the middle, sided with rest and recovery. Eventually, the tension spilled into personal relationships. Management versus band, old loyalties versus new ones. When no agreement was reached, the band's lawyers stepped in. The decision to cancel came fast, too fast for fans to process, but from the inside, it had been building for months. For fans, the biggest shock wasn't the cancellation, it was Portnoy's silence. The drummer, known for his outspoken nature, said almost nothing. Just a short, polite post thanking fans for their understanding. People expected him to explain, to reassure, to fight back against rumors. But he didn't. Sources say he was furious about how things were handled. He had returned to Dream Theater with hope, only to find old frustrations resurfacing. In private, Portnoy reportedly felt the band had lost its spirit. The reunion had been more about nostalgia than music. And when he realized that money and business decisions were now controlling every move, he withdrew emotionally. Some insiders believe Portnoy wanted to continue touring independently, maybe even forming a new side project. Others say he was bound by a contract preventing him from speaking publicly. Whatever the reason, his silence spoke volumes. James Labrie's voice had always been at the center of Dream Theater's sound. Powerful, emotional, and precise. But it had also been his greatest burden. Years of touring had taken a toll. By 2025, he was struggling to maintain the high notes that defined their classics. During rehearsals, he reportedly asked for more rest days and shorter set lists. But that request didn't sit well with everyone. Petrucci wanted to deliver long, epic shows. Labrie wanted something more sustainable. Arguments flared. Sources close to the band said Labrie broke down during one session, saying, "I can't keep doing this at this pace." It wasn't a resignation. It was exhaustion. Fans had noticed the strain in recent performances. His voice wasn't what it used to be, but his emotion was deeper than ever. Sadly, that same emotion made the pressure unbearable. When the European tour was cancelled, some insiders whispered that it was done partly to protect Labrie's health, a truth the band didn't want to admit publicly. John Petrucci, the perfectionist leader of Dream Theater, had always carried the weight of the band's legacy. For him, failure wasn't an option. But the 2026 tour tested him in ways fans didn't see. Balancing family, studio projects, and touring had stretched him thin. On top of that, creative differences with Portnoy had reappeared. They had different visions of what Dream Theater should be in this new era. Petrucci reportedly wanted to take the band into a more modern direction, with cinematic visuals and complex arrangements. Portnoy wanted the raw energy of the old days. The compromise pleased no one. When the tour plans began collapsing, Petrucci faced a choice: push through and risk the band's stability, or pull the plug to regroup. In the end, he chose control. The decision to cancel might have been his, not management's, not health-related, but a calculated move to protect the brand he built. At first, fans were sympathetic, but as weeks turned into months with no statement, patience ran out. Social media turned harsh, accusations flew, people demanded refunds and explanations. Some longtime fans said Dream Theater had lost touch with their audience. Others defended them, pointing out that these musicians had given 40 years to the art form, but the lack of communication hurt. Dream Theater had built their legacy on loyalty, and now many felt abandoned. Petrucci, his company, quietly released a statement saying the band appreciates everyone's understanding, but it only made things worse. The message sounded corporate, not human. What fans didn't know was that behind the scenes, Dream Theater members weren't even speaking regularly. Communication had broken down completely. The dream was cracking from the inside. Months later, whispers began again, this time from crew members. One revealed that a band member had undergone surgery in late 2025. Another hinted at serious fatigue issues. No names were mentioned, but the puzzle pieces fit together. Health, it seemed, was at least part of the reason for the cancellation. Dream Theater had always been proud of their stamina, playing 3-hour shows night after night. But time catches up, even with the most skilled musicians. Long flights, endless rehearsals, and aging bodies take their toll. If the rumors were true, then the band had done the right thing, but chosen to protect their privacy rather than feed the media machine. Unfortunately, their silence made fans assume the worst. Sometimes, protecting your truth means letting others believe a lie. In early 2026, leaked emails hinted that several European promoters were suing the band's management for breach of contract. Millions were at stake. Dream Theater's touring company reportedly lost sponsorship deals and faced penalties for last-minute cancellations. To avoid a bigger scandal, they chose silence over confession. That's why no one spoke. It wasn't pride, it was legal advice. The band couldn't say anything without risking even more financial loss. While fans speculated about emotional or creative issues, the truth may have been far more corporate. Dream Theater had built an empire, merchandise, recordings, equipment brands, and one bad tour could shake it all. In trying to protect their legacy, they sacrificed transparency. When Mike Portnoy rejoined in 2023, fans believed the story had come full circle. Old wounds healed. The classic lineup was back. But behind the smiles, unresolved tension remained. The joy of reunion faded quickly once reality returned. Rehearsals, set lists, management calls, financial pressures. What once felt like magic now felt like work. The 2026 cancellation might not have been just about one event. It may have been the quiet ending of that reunion. Insiders whispered that after the tour collapse, Portnoy and Petrucci agreed to take time apart again. It wasn't publicized as a breakup, but fans could feel it. The energy that once defined Dream Theater had dimmed. By mid-2026, Dream Theater had vanished from public view. No interviews, no new music updates. Their official pages went silent. But something was happening behind the curtain. Industry insiders reported that Petrucci was in the studio again, without mentioning who else was there. Some believed he was working on solo material. Others thought it might be a quiet rebranding of Dream Theater under a new name. Fans held on to hope. Maybe the silence meant preparation for a comeback. Maybe they were regrouping. But those who knew the band best said this kind of silence usually meant something final. Still, hope remained. Dream Theater had survived before. Maybe they could again. So what won't Dream Theater say? That the pressure, the business, the perfectionism, and the weight of legacy finally caught up to them. That even legends have limits. Behind the word cancelled were years of exhaustion, creative disagreements, financial complications, and human pain. They didn't owe fans the details, but the truth is simple. They needed to stop before the music stopped meaning something. Their silence isn't arrogance, it's protection. For their health, their friendship, and maybe their legacy. Dream Theater may return, stronger, wiser, or different. But the 2026 European tour will always remain a mystery, a chapter they chose not to explain. Months later, a small light appeared. Petrucci posted a photo, a studio guitar on a chair captioned, "Dreams Evolve." Fans flooded the comments with hope. It wasn't confirmation, but it was something. Maybe the dream wasn't over, just transforming. Dream Theater's story has always been about endurance. Every fall led to rebirth. Every silence preceded a masterpiece. Maybe what they won't say out loud is this: sometimes you have to cancel a tour to save the music. Sometimes stepping back is the only way to move forward. The dream lives on, just in a different form.